Hey everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. So my name is Katie if you're new, and today is going to be my August Pan That Palette update. So I do have a fairly brief update. I'm down to 3 shades, so it's going pretty quickly. Although last update when I asked if you guys would be interested in me starting my new next year's Pan That Palette a little bit early and doing like a help me pick my Pan That Palette, I will be doing that. A lot of you guys seem to be interested, so hopefully over the next couple of weeks or so I'll be getting that done. I've been putting in a lot of overtime at work to be able to make up enough hours to take a few days off to go to a festival. So now that I'm back from that, I think things should settle a little bit, and hopefully I'll be less hot, sweaty, and tired when I get home from work and have a little bit of energy to be able to film stuff. So anyways, that's very much on the list, and that should be up by the end of the month. I'm putting that out there and committing to it. So I have a little bit of an update for this. I'm down to the final 3. For those of you guys who don't know, if you're new, I've been working on a combination of the Natasha Denona Mini Retro and the Pat McGrath Mini Sublime, and I'm down to the last 3 shades. 2 of those are from Mini Sublime, and then I have 1 remaining shade from Mini Retro. So as of the last update, I had pan in everything. I was hoping to repress and re-hit pan on Sinful, which is the sort of greenish gold shade, and I was hoping to get just some pan expansion on everything else. And I've got to admit, my usage with these did not go quite exactly how I was expecting it to. There were a couple of shades that I didn't expect to be reaching for that much, especially this time of year, that I ended up using a lot, and some shades that I wanted to use more that I just kind of didn't end up doing. Also, if you're looking at my hair and you're going, that's not your natural hair color, it's not. I did dye it, and part of the reason my usage ended up skewing a little bit was because when I first dyed my hair, I think I did it like a week and a half or so ago, it's faded pretty significantly down to the color that I was kind of going for, but because I used a hot pink, it was very, very aggressively pink for about a week. It's only really sort of settled since the last time I washed my hair. I found it was very difficult to find makeup that looked good with that. Some of the greens that I wanted to use were a little bit too much, so I was wearing a lot of pink and a lot of really, really neutral browns, and now I feel like it's settled so I can do more what I want to. So I think my usage should go back to normal this month. Yeah, so I haven't really reached for this as much since the hair dye. Now that my hair has faded and it's a little bit less of a focus, I think I'll be able to get a little bit more creative and get back to wearing pretty much all colors that I want to. So the first shade that I'm going to start off with is the one that I always start off with, Sinful. So as of the last update, I had a pretty significant pan, and I said I was going to repress it and then I wanted to re-hit pan, and as you guys can see, I did that. It took me much longer to re-hit pan on Sinful than I thought it was going to. There was definitely a deceptive amount of product still remaining. It took me quite a few uses to re-hit pan. I've used this one 14 times since the last update, mainly as an inner corner highlight, which I feel like I say every single update. This was a shade that I found very hard to make work as a lid shade, especially when my hair was still very, very bright. I didn't quite love the way it looked, so I kind of sat back on it a little bit. Now that my hair is faded, I think I'll be into this one quite a bit more. I ended up hitting pause on it a little bit for the latter half of the month, but hopefully I'll be able to get that back up to speed this month. I do have like a tiny pan, and I think at the rate I'm going, if this is anything like the other shades, I think it'll go a lot faster now that it has been repressed. I just have to actually reach into it, as well as using it as more than just an inner corner highlight. Then moving on to Sextrovert, I thought I was going to use this one way more than I did. I just haven't really been feeling the bronzes as much this month, and I don't know why, because I do like the shade, but I just kind of lost my mojo for it a little bit. So I've only used this one 4 times. It still looks like virtually the same. I don't think that there's any significant difference. This month I'm speaking it into existence. I'm going to use this one more and get more usage out of this one and more pan expansion, because I'm never going to finish it at the rate that I'm going by the end of the year if I don't like pick up the pace on this one. And then my surprise shade was Industrial. This is generally not a shade that I am particularly inspired to reach for, especially this time of year. It has been very, very hot and humid here, but it's also been quite cloudy and overcast, and I also have, I think I noted this in my last update too, I have a green in my Pan Those Eyeshadows that works with Industrial as well as Sinful, and I've been trying to hit my usage goal and get that one rolled out, so I've been reaching into that one pretty often and pairing it with these 2 right here. So as you guys can see, I have quite a bit of pan expansion on Industrial, which I didn't expect because I had a very tiny speck of pan as of the last update, and now I am definitely expanding that and sort of working towards like side pan in the top here. So that is kind of the progress that I have going on right now. Much more on this one. These ones are kind of trailing, but I think that will change. And I also feel like these ones are more like fall shades. Like I know I reach for Sinful a whole lot with the Gemini palette in the fall, and we are sort of heading in that general direction. And then same thing with Sextrovert. That is sort of the overview. Quite brief, but definitely making some progress, although much more of a slow but steady. I don't know, if you guys have dyed your hair crazy colors, let me know how that affected your makeup preferences, because for me, I definitely just felt like the hair was the focus and I didn't want to be doing too much and just like sort of keep everything in balance. So I had to tone down my makeup, and I was using a lot of shades that were very complementary to what my hair looked like. I don't know if I'm going to re-dye it back to that bright pink, probably not, but I might still continue doing it because it has been really fun. I really do like it. I've wanted to do this for a while, but anyways, that is a whole side tangent there. So in terms of goals for the next update and what I want to do, I think the one that I'm going to really try to to get finished off as soon as possible is going to be Industrial. I've been really enjoying wearing that one to work. It's a nice neutral shade, gives a little bit more of a grungy vibe, and it's still neutral enough that even if my hair does end up being brighter, it still works. So I think if I can, like, I don't know how much you guys can see, re-hit side pan over here and start clearing out that sort of top section by the next update, that would make me really happy. I think with the pan expansion, I would say I probably have less than 50 nooses left on this one and it'll be done, so that would be awesome. And then I also want to step it up on Sextrovert because realistically I'm never going to finish that one by the end of the year if I don't pick up the pace. And even though it is definitely more of a warm leaning bronze, it can be cooled down, so I think because we're supposed to get a streak of incoming gloomy weather for like the next week and a half, I think I'll be able to incorporate this with some of my cooler tone palettes like Stone Cold Fox or Mary Jane and get some neutral but slightly cooler work appropriate looks. I also really like, you know, using the two of these guys together with some of the mattes from the Mary Jane palette. I always get some really nice looks from that are just slightly different, like neutral, but just neutral with a twist. So I think I'll be doing that. I mean, something has to be the last to finish and it will most likely end up being Sextrovert, but I do need to pick up the pace. And then for Sinful, I want to be using that one more, and more than just dipping into it as an inner corner highlight. I want to dig out some of the greens from the Gemini and Gemini 2 palette and start pairing that with Sinful because that does work really, really nicely with those, and wearing it more as a lid shade rather than just popping it on the inner corner highlight or as the center of a halo eye, because it's going to take me ages to finish that if I'm only using it on a tiny pencil brush. So I want to step up the use on that one as well. So in conclusion, I want to hit side pan on Industrial and I just want pan expansion on the rest of them, and we'll just kind of see how things go. And then I'm planning on having my new Pick My Pan That palette with me up hopefully by the end of this month, or maybe a little bit less if I can get back into a filming schedule. Anyways, so that is everything that I have for this update. As always, if you guys are doing this project, let me know down below what you picked and how it's going for you. If you're new and you want to see more of my face, I upload when I can, so feel free to hit that subscribe button if you're interested. If you enjoyed the video, as always, feel free to give it a like, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye!